the mother church of the Archdiocese of Denver, with over 160 years of a living history of faith, hope, and love at the heart of Colorado. The Cathedral Basilica of the Immaculate Conception proudly presents. Now, from the Cathedral Rectory, the Rector's Report with Father Samuel Morehead.
Greetings, this is Father Sam Morehead. Welcome back to the Cathedral Rectory. You'll find us for the very last time this weekend with all of our wonderful Christmas decor up. The traditional end of the Christmas season is upon us as we celebrate the great feast of Candlemas, or also better liturgically known as the Feast of the Presentation of the Lord. And that's where we find ourselves this first weekend of the great month of February. And so as we enter into this, well, let's talk about that celebration. Candlemas, the Feast of the Presentation of the Lord, is so great a feast that it displaces even a Sunday itself. So this would have normally been the fourth Sunday of Ordinary Time, but we set that aside and we celebrate this feast that recalls that on the 40th day after Christ's birth, he, like every other firstborn Jewish sons, was solemnly consecrated, entrusted to God, and dedicated in the Jewish temple of old. And as a part of our celebrations of that, we will have the blessing and the procession with candles at the Cathedral Basilica at all of our weekend masses from Saturday through all of the Sunday masses for this feast day. So if you would like to bring any of your own candles to the Cathedral Basilica, have them in the pew. We'll also be providing very small, short candles to you all. All of these candles will be blessed. You can take the candles that we give you home, but they'll be lit at the beginning of each Mass. So that's why it's important to show up maybe a little extra early to the Mass this weekend. The candles will be blessed at the beginning of Mass. We'll light them, and then there'll be a procession into the temple, recalling how our Blessed Lady Mary with St. Joseph on that 40th day after Christ's birth brought him to the temple. He who is the true light of the world, light from light, he who is worthy of adoration and worship, coming to the temple himself. And so you and I recall that, reenact that, and we live out of that fact. And so what a beautiful weekend celebration this is. You only see this on a Sunday every 6 to 7 years, so this is not one to miss. So I encourage you to come to the Cathedral Basilica, come a little early, and participate in this great celebration that sees the blessing of candles and the procession with them. Then, as a part of that, as part of our Jubilee 2025 Holy Year celebrations, we're also inviting all men and women consecrated religious, those who are hermits, monks, and the like, to the Cathedral Basilica for the Jubilee celebration and to receive a plenary indulgence. All persons on every day can do that, of course, but just as the Holy Father is doing in Rome, so here at the Cathedral Basilica, we're going to have different groups come on different days throughout the year, and to honor the World Day of Consecrated Religious, which is February 2nd, the Feast of the Presentation of the Lord, we're inviting all of our men and women religious, brothers, sisters, monks, nuns, hermits, consecrated virgins, and all the like, to come to the cathedral this Sunday at the 10:30 a.m. Mass. At the end of the Mass, there will be a special blessing for all of our wonderful consecrated men and women religious. So I encourage you all to come see that, perhaps to see the monks and nun sisters who would be there, and for them to receive that special blessing this Sunday. This Sunday also features the next installment of our Corda program, which is our young adult program for those 18 through 39 years old. On Sunday evening, this Sunday at 8 p.m., we're going to have Swinging Sunday. It's swing dance lessons and dancing time at the Knights of Columbus Hall, free, open to the public. 8 p.m. is when it starts. It goes for about an hour and a half or so. We usually get 150 to 200 young persons. We might call it, in an old-fashioned sense, a great mixer. And so our young persons are welcome to come down, learn these dancing moves, to enjoy the time with one another. It's a great place to build up fraternity and community as we also share faith together. So calling all of our young persons to come on down to the Cathedral Basilica and to the Knights of Columbus Hall in particular this Sunday evening. This week, we're going to have the next of our our Credo nights, where we talk about the faith and share it together. A wonderful opportunity for persons, be they Credo Catholics, those interested in becoming Catholics, those fallen away from the church, coming back to the church, those never baptized, just curious, interested. What is this whole Catholic Christian thing? We meet every Wednesday evening in the Cathedral Parish Basement Hall. That's accessible along Logan Street through the double wooden doors. Go downstairs and you'll find a crowd of persons there. We often will have 45, 50, 60 persons down there for a time of sharing of faith, of prayer, of conversation with one another, and a topic. And this week we're going to undertake the beginning of a really unpacking of the Ten Commandments and what each of the commandments live in. How do we actually understand the moral life? We're called to be good persons, but only by virtue of our cooperation with the grace God gives us to become the good persons we're called to become in Jesus. We start, of course, with the first commandment. What does it mean to reverence God, to keep his person holy, to not offend against him? We're going to take this commandment up. I will be your speaker. That will be this Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., the Cathedral Basement Hall. And if you can't join us in person, which is always preferable, you can watch it or watch it later on our YouTube channel. Information right there on the screen for you. Then, announcing something that's a few weeks out, but good to put on your calendar already. Every month we do our free Cathedral concert series. This month in February, on the third Sunday of February, which that of course is going to be the 16th, at 3 p.m., we're going to do a pipe organ extravaganza. This last year, Rick Morale, who was a master pipe builder and who did the restoration refurbishment works a number of years ago on our cathedral pipe organ, passed away. And a number of organists have all decided to come together and to do a tribute concert in memoria. And so I invite you to join us for this great reality. We're going to have it on the 16th, 3 p.m., free, open to the public, and some of the best organists here in Denver are going to be taking their turn at the organ that Rick Morrell once helped to rebuild. And so I invite you to mark your calendar and come down for that wonderful exhibition, that extravaganza of our great pipe organ here in the midst of the city. Speaking of things made new, lastly, the cathedral's own parish website was refreshed this last week. If you haven't found it already, I encourage you to go on and look at it. The address is denvercathedral.org. There are some of the still photos of it. They're right on your screen next to me. You'll find that there's new options, new features, new beautiful images and video, and you can see much in the life of our cathedral basilica. And I hope it's a help not only to you who are regulars, but a great resource to those who might be interested in our cathedral, interested in the faith, and stumble upon this website before they stumble across our threshold. So I encourage you to take a look, a perusal through it. It's not all completely done. You might find a few broken links here or there, but it is beautiful and stunning, and it's us. And I thank God for it. Well, with all of that in mind, I wish you and yours a beautiful week in front of you. Many blessings. I hope to celebrate the feast of the presentation of the Lord with you. Have a wonderful one, everybody.